Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Ivana's Life. So today I have a very special topic for you, and if you like it, don't forget to like the video or dislike the video, depends on your emotion. Subscribe to my channel, don't forget to touch the bell so you will get a notification when the new video is out. So let's start the vlog. 7 years ago, this young Ukrainian girl has moved to Norway. Yeah, I tried to immigrate to Norway, and today I will tell you some tricks and, to my opinion, what are the best ways to immigrate to Norway. Please don't forget to subscribe, like the video and comment your questions. Let's start. So the 3 best ways to immigrate to Norway, I would say, are for studying, number 1. Number 2 is to do a PhD. And number 3, it is to work. Earlier, I know that it was very popular, especially in post-Soviet Union countries, to move to Norway through the marriage. But in the end of the video, I will tell you why it's not anymore the best way to immigrate to Norway, and what you would need to think of to be able to be independent and a happy person. But let's talk about these 3 best ways to immigrate to Norway. So when we talk about study, as you know, if you think about the universities, study can be divided into bachelor study and master study. For bachelor study in Norway, you need to know Norwegian, and at a very really experienced level, B2 or higher, because you will have a lot of essay, a lot of text. They will want you to understand everything what is happening on the lectures. You will collaborate a lot. So if you want to do your bachelor's in Norway, prior to that you have to learn Norwegian, and you have to learn it well. It's like not enough to know language just to go to the store or to travel, or even if you go to work, sometimes you need really lower Norwegian level language, then you go to the university, because in the university at bachelor studies you will need to read a lot, you will need to write a lot, you will be listening a lot, and you will be forced to communicate a lot with your classmates and stuff. So that's why there is a huge need to have a really good Norwegian. Also, it depends on the major which you have, and in Norway we have a couple of universities that are really famous, but I think that it doesn't matter which one you choose. Like, you will still get the same cultural experience and the same stuff. So I'm personally myself, I come from Norwegian University of Technology and Science and TNU. There is many other different universities, but I will talk about the one that I am the most experienced in. So the second way here to get to study, it's a bit much easier and more open. It's a master study. So if you want to get a master degree, then you don't need to know Norwegian. You need to know English, and it also needs to be at the level B2 or higher, because you will have the same as in Norwegian. You will need to do a lot of reading. You will need to be able to understand teachers at different levels. You need to be able to present, and you need to be able to write. So therefore your English, you will need to have an English test, like ELT or TOEFL, so be sure about that. But what is great about the master study. The only thing that you need to be worried about is kind of to comply with the requirements for your major and to choose the university you want to go. You can apply easily just by going to the each university webpage and finding application forms and the list of the documents that you need to submit. You can do it from your country. You don't need to come to Norway at all. And you can find really master studies that some majors are more famous, and then you have a high competition there, especially in our university and in my city. It's a computer science major. But if you will look on a different type of specialization, you will be surprised. You actually can do it well, and you can get educated, and you can get a scholarship. This is really important. You can get a scholarship. And the main thing in Norway, that this scholarship, you will be living in the dormitory, or like you can rent a room in the house or apartment with other students. You will have a possibility to have food, to buy food, and I think that you can survive on the scholarship. If no, you still have a possibility of part-time job. Up to 20 hours per week you can work. So it's actually great. If you immigrate to Norway through your study, it means that you are able to build connections throughout these years. You are able to search for a job while you're a student, and then you have a higher chance of staying in Norway or like in your cities. So this is really a great start for you, and I think that you are able also to get education from the country you want to live in, and of course it will be beneficial. So this is really a great opportunity for you. So the second way of immigrating to Norway, it's a PhD. So I decided that it's very important to separate PhD from study and work groups. Why? Because PhD in Norway, it's an employment. It's actually a job. But also partly you're a student. I think it's if you have already your master, it's a perfect match. More or less, typically you will have such requirements as master thesis grade should be B or higher. This is extremely important. You will have a much higher chance of getting a PhD in Norway if you have your master thesis graduated with B. But it's for thesis. And then an average grade for your master study, it should be higher than C, but preferably it should be B or A. So if you're a good student, or if you're a student with a good grades, then you actually have a hit of trying to get a PhD. You need to remember that your English needs to be not only advanced, but also it would be nice if you have academic writing skills. So if you have tried to publish something, or if you have published something, it will be of benefit for you. So please be sure that you understand what is the academic life and what is a PhD, because PhD, it's a 3 or 4 years job in which you have 30 credits that you need to finish as a student, and those 30 credits you usually cover by taking a PhD level courses in the topic you're doing a PhD, or something that is very close to what you do. And among these 30 credits, only 10 credits are allowed to be covered by a master course. So you should understand that actually you need to be really advanced in your topic, and you need to be open-minded and be creative and be, in most cases, from my personal experience, you need to be self-driven. You would benefit from it if you're in a PhD position in Norway. So what is the difference between 3 years and 4 years? 3-year PhD, it means that you come to Norway and you only do your PhD, so you only do your research, you only do your study, you have a supervisor, you need to complete you need to finish the 30 credits courses in the university, you travel to the conferences, you publish articles, and you write thesis, and probably you do some experiments. But in a 4-year PhD, what is great that you have 4 years. So you see, you have a 4 years paid work. But also, in addition to regular research and in addition to everything that the 3 years PhD has, you also need to help to teach or to help a teacher in some courses. So we call it a duty work. So it's some organizational stuff. It depends on which department and in which faculty and which university you are in. But what also is great about PhD in Norway, so as I said, you will be an employee. It means that you will pay taxes. You will earn really good salary. And your salary this year, actually by 2020, the starting point of salary for a PhD student is 478,000 Norwegian crowns per year. So it's not that bad. The dollars one you should be seen here or here, somewhere below. So it's really a great starting point. And in Norway, typically the first 3 years, your salary will be increased each year by some amount of money. So it will not stay in line, and so it's a really great opportunity. But also what is great about PhD, that actually, if you didn't know, that in Norway, in order to get the permanent residence permit, you need to live and work with salary in Norway for the 3 years. And thus it means that your PhD study will open for you the possibility just right after finishing or almost finishing to get a permanent residence permit. And then it means that if you saved some money, you actually can stay in Norway and search for a job as long as you wish. Not that bad, right? And let's go to the last point about the job search, work as the entrance to the Norway. I want to highlight 3 main ways, or like from my experience. Again, it's only from my experience. So if you know other people from other fields of study, they will tell you a bit different story. But for me, I think that if you are an international person who is looking for a job, what will be the easiest, or like what is the possibilities? First of all, to find a job in the university. It can be a position as a researcher, it can be a position as the associate professor, it can be a position as professor, and actually sometimes you can find the work as a project manager in the university. If you want to know more about this stuff, I can record another video and we can talk more. Just write a comment with your question and I can cover it in more details later, if you're interested, of course. The second work possibility, it's a private company. I think from my point of view, it's a bit harder to get in, since in university you can come only with English and then learn Norwegian. But for the private companies, of course, they would like to have you with the Norwegian language, because a different if it's especially manufacturing related work, then most likely you need to speak Norwegian. But if you think of, or like hospitals, also you need to know Norwegian. But if you think about some computer science related job, or data scientist, actually really need it in Norway. Experienced people really need it. So the computer science positions and data science, then you can go with English, but you need to be experienced professional in that area where you apply. You will be applying for skilled worker visa, so it means that you need to have appropriate diploma. Don't forget about this. In Norway, it's a big deal. And typically, it's not a problem with visas in United States, because in Norway, you just need to get a job contract, and then you can apply for the skilled worker visa. You will pay fee yourself. It's I will check, but it's about 5,500 NOK application fee, and then you can apply from your country for visa, and then you come here and finish your application fee and so on and start working. So, but if you have a Norwegian language, then of course the choice of the work that is open for you is much higher, but you also need to know some small detail. In Norway, it's extremely hard to find a job. You need to have a good network, and if someone from your network can recommend you to some other person, it will be really, really helpful. It's not the only way to get a job, but it will make your life much easier in searching for the job. This is for sure. It's like, be sure about that. But it doesn't mean that if you don't have a network that you cannot do this. It just be ready that it will take some time. Typically can take about half a year to a year. If there is an urgent position that needs to be closed down faster, then of course you will do it faster. But if it's not an urgent position, it will take some time. And then the last place where I would say that it's really nice to work, well, like to enter the work in immigration status in Norway, it's startups. In Norway, nowadays, more and more startups are becoming really successful, and they're searching, even at starting point, they're searching people with specific skills. But later on, also when they got first investments, they are looking for candidates with really good level of skills, and you even can start working, I think, from your home. It could be if you negotiate it in that way, so you can save up some money and then come here with already some budget in your pocket. So for startups, you need to there is different ways how you can find a job in startups. First of all, you can also send an open CV for accelerator program. You can apply for open positions or regular positions on the websites of the startups, and data scientist is the whole hot topic now in Norway as well as any other country in the world. So this is short, it's a bit long, but still it's in my point of view, the 3 best ways to immigrate to Norway. If you want to know more details about each of them, I would be happy to answer your questions. I can make a separate videos for each of the topics, but if you need it, then I do it. So please comment it below, ask me questions, subscribe, like the video, and the last small comment about marriage immigration. So previously it was really a good way to immigrate to Norway, and I know that many women did it in that way. But about 2 years ago, the Norwegian government decided to make a small change in the requirements how to get residence permit. Remember, 3 years living in Norway. So first of all, the study doesn't count for these 3 years for residence permit. This is one thing, you need to be working. Second one, earlier marriage was counted, but now they put additional requirement that the person who lives in Norway has to have a salary for the last 12 months before the application, and by today's day the salary should be at least 246 Norwegian kroners before tax. So it means that even if you are married, you still need to find a job. You still need to work for the past year before you can apply for residence permit. So I hope it was interesting, and this is all for today. The next time I will talk about my immigration story and how I managed to move to Norway, and I already live here for 7 years. So see you next time. Bye!